Hello everybody and welcome to Rogue Space, INT's developmental podcast. Joining me in this episode are usual suspects John.
Hello.
Debbie.
Hi.
And this month we have a special guest from the team Secret Reality. We have Eric Chou. I pronounced that right, didn't I?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, how you doing? So Secret Reality, we'll be talking with Eric along with his art director Matt.
Yep.
Not our art director Matt.
Hey, what's up?
In the interview section. We'll talk with them in the interview later in the episode, but first we will be talking in our banter section about 500 Days of Summer. Not the film. I just ripped off the title because we needed something summer related for the summer of INT. Before we get into that though, we would like to announce here at Star Wars Games we will be attending the Con of the Mountain at the end of September, September 31st, September 30th, it's not 31st September, September 30th to October 2nd in Clifton Forge, Virginia. We'll talk a little bit more about that before we finish, but for now let's jump straight into the topic. So the idea of 500 Days of Summer is if you were given 500 days of holiday off to do whatever the hell you wanted, what would you do? What goals would you set yourself? How would you go about doing them? And why would you do them? Why those things specifically? Now, we're not talking 500 days of, like, you're not rich, you're not, anyway, you're gonna stay your same, kind of lifestyle. You just have 500 days of free time. So, anyone want to jump in and kick off on what they would do first, if they had 500 days off?
Being a group of indie game designers, 500 Days of Summer, it's a lot of time to catch up on all those games we have working on ourselves.
Yeah,
true.
that'd be kind of interesting actually. That actually reminds me of this. When I was at school, there's one of the professors was telling us that one of his graduate students designed this Steam clock, which basically goes through your library and tells you how many hours you would need to play all your Steam games.
Would 500 days be
It was.
It's the question.
I don't know. You know?
It's possible. I'd probably get away with it. I wonder how long Tabletop Simulator counts you need to play that for. Because, that's probably the only game I have on Steam that I could, even remotely spend time on at this point.
Speaking of summer, though, so I just got a bunch of games on Steam, but I barely even touch them, so I don't really ever have time. So 500 days? Yeah. I'll be staying up in my room for a couple days.
Been more than a couple of days if you don't.
Well, I don't know. Beyond that, if I really had that much amount of time, damn. I guess there are a couple of games that I'd like to play. That I should probably play, like classics, like BioShock, which I never get around to. I guess the other thing I would probably do, which I keep telling myself I would do, I just don't have enough time, is a little while ago I used to do research on a gaming guild clan that I used to co-lead for a while, for about 3 years, and I did. It just happened, we just kind of found it, and then I just happened to be starting a class, and I was like doing research for it, and then it kind of ended up croaking, and I just happened to be doing research at the time, and but all those are like interviews. All those are like interviews that I did with the different members, and I just need enough time to really sit down and listen to all those things, and I guess that's still kind of work, but I like it.
Yeah. Well, there's no reason why you couldn't do work. I mean, if that's what you want to do with your time off. I know most of my goals. I actually didn't put down play any games. I don't think. Although of course I would spend a lot of time playing some games when I could. But a lot of the stuff I do is just like things that I would work on if I had time and stuff. But that's kind of stuff. So for example, one of the things that I would most likely do is I have. I always really. It's awkward saying he's my second cousin, I think, or something, or cousin once removed, whatever. He's my cousin's kid. My cousin is like 20 years older than me, and his kid is like 20 years younger than me, or 15 years younger than me. But he's about 12 now. So he's 11 years younger than me. But he was telling me he wants to be like me now. He wants to be like a coder and stuff, because I recently met him really for the first time. It was about this time last year, because he lives in America. And he was like, oh, I want to be kind of like a coder. And I showed him a little video games. He's like, oh, that's really cool. And now he's kind of trying to follow along with our project, except for I can't show him a whole lot of stuff because it's like mature content, drug use and the like, and his parents are not big for that. But I would like, he wants to learn to code. So one of the things I would definitely do is like sit down and start a project with him and try and teach him the code, like just basics or as much as I could in that time, and see where we got going within 500 days. You know, a couple hours a week we could get somewhere. You know, that would be a really kind of bonding thing. But then all my other things are like nothing to do with other people. That's the only thing I would do.
Yeah,
with
honestly, if I had that much time, like I'd probably sink it into the project I'm currently on, or I don't know. I would do a worldwide hunt for actually someone that could co-do my job or something like that, because it becomes a lot. But then again, that's just me back to work. Relaxation-wise, I don't know. I could probably find a beach somewhere. But honestly, that might be just too much time. Because
seeing you on a beach, man. I don't think I'd ever see. I don't ever think I'd see you on a beach, buddy.
What? What do you mean? I've been on beaches. I'm just saying. We work a lot. We work a lot. So
yeah.
Well, yeah, we work.
Chances
a lot.
are, seeing us on a beach or in like a theme park just not gonna happen.
Well, I know, but just
that open.
Maybe go for it, Debbie.
Oh, your amusement. So, I was thinking about this when you first mentioned it. I was like, oh, there's so much I would do. But it's kind of what you always were saying. I feel like when you're doing the job that you're really passionate about, when you have free time, you're like, I'm gonna do that. And I just think like I have so much time to write and so much, creative space I can really get into, and I could write this novel I've been thinking about. I could do these short stories. But I also know I would blow a whole lot of time going to amusement parks because I absolutely love roller coasters. I feel like the closer I feel to death, the more exciting it is. Yeah.
Well, you want to be careful with that. You are a girl, and I don't know how old you are, but it's possible someone could misread that, and
we've had the conversation about me getting murdered before. Yes, no, please, anyone listening to this, don't. That is not an invitation to kill me. It just means that I really love sketchy carnival rides, especially. I mean, hit up every single summer fair, every single county fair, and just find the scariest, most rickety ride. And yeah.
You ever been to Great America?
No.
California?
No.
You totally should. There's this rickety wooden one that I absolutely hate.
That's awesome.
I
would love it.
It's called Demon, and my friend convinced me to go on it, and I don't know, I believe in God or anything, but still, as it was coming into my turn, it broke down, and I was like, yes.
Oh my God.
I don't want to do it in the, but they did one time the one time in my life I've been successfully peer pressured was to go on Drop Zone. And oh my God, that was quite an experience. Basically, it goes up really high, and then it drops you, and then it goes up again, and then it drops you, and then
That is the.
And then it does a free fall,
Yeah, a ride like that is the only ride that ever gave me horrible nightmares, and this is how. I thought that if I kept writing it, I would get over my fear of it, so I wrote it 5 times in one day, and this was when I was maybe 14, so 13 years ago, and I still have nightmares about it. And every time that I go to an amusement park, I tell myself I'm gonna do it, and then I find excuses to go to the one that's gonna basically hang you upside down and through some loop-de-loops for a while.
Oh, those, yeah. I think there's
awesome.
one. There's one in that place called Vertigo, which does that. Ooh.
I didn't even get near these things.
Sorry.
Yeah.
There was a really funny thing a while ago. It was really funny to see because they had one of those things like that in. It was in London. Here in Ireland, you get a lot of English TV because we don't watch our own. It's terrible. Anyway, so we get a lot of English TV. But there was a thing a while ago where they had that in London, where they had one of those things that just goes straight up and straight down. But they also had one that was like a slingshot, and it just kind of like shoots you up in a big sphere, and then it's elastic right back. But the thing was hilarious was they put it in the center of London or around London, and it was on the news because there was just people in office buildings all around this square that they're in, and every 5 minutes there would just be a new thing of someone shooting past their window, screaming, and then coming way back down, and you're like, we have to work with this. Why is this here? And they were complaining, and it was just like, why did they do that? Like, that's just really stupid. It was really funny. I was just like, oh, that's what happens. Great, like, and not only do you get the pleasure of like being on that ride, but you get to know that you're like annoying everyone in a like whole mile radius who are trying to work at their desk. Going, why the fuck are annoying at this thing?
Well,
but
this is
Great.
a choppy transition, I know, but it just reminded me. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the show IT Crowd, but there's a moment where somebody just steps out. It's a funny scene where somebody steps out of a window and everybody freaks out about it. It's not actually that interesting. I was gonna be like, I watch a lot of TV too because I'm a TV junkie.
That's what I would do.
No, that's
I'd jump out the window.
that happens. What's it like? Didn't that happen? What, like in the last Game of Thrones? Like the king just like stepped out of the window.
God, that was that. I knew it was coming though. He couldn't. He was too naive.
He was too good.
He was too good and too pure and too naive. And I was like, oh, dude, I wanted what's best for you, but I knew that was coming.
Right. And you know what? How that relates to summer? Well, their summer season is ending. Ha!
No, winter has come.
No, winter has come.
Yeah, winter has come. The dove signified.
Yeah, the dove.
Yeah.
But the dove was supposed to come earlier.
Oh.
In the book. But anyways.
Yeah. Well, TV show book transition.
So, John, what would you do with your 500 days of summer? What would be your first thing? The first thing you go, this is if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to do this. What would it be?
Well, there's that one thing I always wanted to do, but I never got a chance to, and that's to build a trebuchet. And
that is an interesting one. Do tell.
We're like, we're gonna create it.
First the how, then the why.
And John's like, we're gonna destroy everything.
Is this a single man endeavor?
Probably. No, I'll get a bunch of friends. I actually have a few friends that does metalwork, woodwork, and a few engineers and mechanics and all that.
Hey, I would be right there with you if I would be able to. Sounds fucking cool, man.
John, how large are we talking? Are we talking about
real
like
size?
A...
Real size. I mean, there's no point making a half-ass, really, is there? Like, you make a war machine.
Go big or don't destroy your home.
Well, I mean, the aim is to build a real-size trebuchet, test it out in the local park, terrorize the neighborhood.
Or you could find a bank and make them really uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, if I don't get shut down by the local police, some crazy-ass guy's building a big-ass wooden thing that flings rocks.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure about over there, but in Australia, but over here in the United States, isn't there some sort of codes that say you can't build something taller than 50 feet on your property or something?
That depends on where you live.
Well, 50 feet be the limit then. I think 50 feet trebuchet can do some real damage as well.
Yeah. That was another thing. It's actually that's actually a bit of a sadder one, but in England there's a guy who is a farmer, like one of these West Country farmer people. But he was in trouble because he made a cow catapult, and he used to just catapult. There were dead cows already; they were already dead. He just catapulted them through the air and just smashed them into things. And it's like it's really sad for the cows; they're already dead. But it's just also hilarious, which is really interesting. Just some farmer, he starts flinging loads, and he used to fling. He set it up where he was told he can't fling cows, so he started flinging cow dung at people who came onto his land, like with a catapult.
Wait a minute, hold on. Were you saying he was flinging cats or cows?
Cows.
I said cats originally, but it was an accident. It was a full cows that had died, like the 500-pound cows. And then people were like, and they started smashing them into the ground and stuff, into things. And he was like, this is very dangerous. So then he just put 20-pound bales of cow dung and started hitting people with that, like actual people who went on his land and trespassed. I
That's
think he's
awesome.
in trouble now, but it was hilarious to see.
That's like a real life Monty Python. You just kind of give me some ideas right there. The Holy Grail going to like.
Also, one of the other things that's interesting as well, it's not quite as funny either. But in England, one of the government programs that they have, if you ever have you need grant funding for innovations and inventions related to transportation and stuff. It's called their system is called the transportation catapult, which also sounds hilarious. that sounds like a real form of transportation. I would like.
I'll totally hire someone to test mine out as a transport option. Strap in, there you go, boom. See you next week.
Can they have a little parachute? Because that would be actually
Optional.
really adorable.
Maybe a helmet.
And me being a thrill-shaped big tiger, I might actually. Oh my gosh, I stuttered.
If you have a parachute, that would wouldn't that defeat the risk?
Only
you gotta be
inclined
close
to
to
work.
death, girl.
Only inclined to work 50% of the time. That's why you have to sign the waiver.
Right.
That means don't
this
get a return
parachute
ticket.
may
Basically,
or may not deploy upon impact. With the emphasis on may or may not and impact.
I don't think a person would. I don't think a parachute would actually launch anything at to the correct altitude for for one to deploy a parachute properly.
There was that guy who invented the body parachute, the one that's like a jumpsuit that turns into a parachute.
Yeah.
It's like the flying
he
squirrel.
was so confident it graded, and he ripped the page off he went to the top of the Eiffel Tower and ripped the page out of a book and threw it to test the wind. He's like, yeah, and then he stepped off and he was like, I'll see you at the bottom. And of course the Eiffel Tower is not tall enough for it to work, so he just splattered on the ground.
Oh my god.
And he died testing his own invention, which is interesting. It was really sad, but just the confidence at which he failed sounds funny. So a catapult parachute, they might not work. You'll get an arc instead of a fall.
It's crazy.
Funny though.
Yeah.
Funny. But one of the things that I would like to do, this is hardly groundbreaking stuff, but what I'd like to do is I'd like to learn the song Maps on the drums. I would just love to play that drum intro and the middle of the song as well, because that's pretty awesome. You'd need a pretty maybe a steady hand, but caffeine would probably help get that rhythm going. I don't want to learn any other songs. I just want to learn that one on the drums, particularly. YYZ is a bit too much. I just couldn't. I would need 1,000 days for that. So I think learning Maps would be fine. That would be pretty good. That's got a kick-ass drum intro, so it is.
Yeah, I would like to learn an instrument as well. I think that would be really cool. But I think realistically, I would probably end up playing board games every day. All of my team members know. So Eric and Matt, I have a pretty strong addiction, much like Matt's caffeine addiction. But for tabletop RPGs, and I will literally sit and play them for 7 hours straight, and it's frustrating because there are still several that I've never won. But I'm convinced with 500 days, I could probably win Eldritch Horror or Dead of Winter or Game of Thrones. One of those. Eventually, I could conquer.
That is a great goal. I want to win every board game
I want to win every
at
board
least
game.
once in my 500 days. That is good. That's a good goal. Interesting one.
I don't know if you guys have ever played Eldritch Horror, but it's literally like a 7
haven't,
or
actually.
8 hour game. And I've
It
lost
sounds something
every
like
time
Dave
I've
would
played
make
it.
us play.
Yeah, if he could.
I'll
Yeah,
do it.
no,
I'll do
he
it.
really likes it because it's based on Lovecraft, and Dave and I are big Lovecraft fans. So Dave being the. I actually won Dead of Winter, kind of. It was only a 2-person game, so we played it on easy. But we did actually win it, and it was really amazing. But I've never won an actual game of Dead or Winter with more than 2 people. So if you guys haven't played, it's a really cool zombie game, and everybody has their own personal objectives. And some people, you don't know who, but some people are like traitors, and they're secretly undermining everyone else is co-oping, and they're assuming that everybody's working together. And they throw kinks in it to make everybody else get eaten by zombies. It's fantastic.
Is that like Zombie Bang or something?
No, it is.
Wow, your voice quality suddenly got a lot better there. No.
No, let me tell you about the
Let
board
me
game.
explain this.
No.
It is the
no,
most
it's,
important subject in the world. Is this board game right now?
It is table. Hey, okay. Most important subjects to
I will
me
not allow any
are
misinformation.
writing, books, tabletop RPGs, and my pets. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but no, Den of Wonder is awesome. You guys should check it out, and you should check out Eldritch Horror as well. And Dave and I can just play D&D forever. Oh, and Jango, you play with the actual group. Although we haven't played in a long time.
Yeah, well, nobody turns up for the fucking game, so I'm there every week. Are we playing or what?
Saturdays is hard because I do stuff.
I know.
Like play board
but
games.
That's the day Luke. That's the day Luke picked. So that's what we gotta do.
Yeah.
We'll get another game eventually, and it didn't help that we lost our fourth person.
Gosh.
Kept playing. Anyway, enough of
Broke my
that. Yeah. So anyone else got a really big thing that they would love to do if they could? This is the one time you're gonna have a big period of time where you could take on a massive project, if you so wished, like a trebuchet.
Well, I mean,
what would
you guys told me about zombies. I think we're gonna find a way to work up an actual zombie apocalypse. So there is actually one.
Oh my god!
Instead of people
John
talking
is
about
take
it.
over. John is an evil mastermind.
You know what, John? Whoa! You know what, John? I have a counter to your zombies. And I figured this out a little while ago, and I don't know why no one's come up with this. Okay, so see me. The counter to zombies is you take out their teeth, and then they're screwed.
Yes, I don't think people have considered.
So I was talking about they were talking about a zombie game on like this game DevNet, and I'm like, and I called the game "Zombies Need Dentists 2" because they, destroyed the first one, but keep them alive, right? Take out their teeth.
But the same goes for vampires too, right?
Sort of, yeah. I just like the idea of like a whole bunch of people in like a medical school thing, just like they're given like the lecturers giving like a pump talk. It's like they may say you're failed med students, but they'll all see when the apocalypse comes. We'll be in demand. Who's gonna need doctors when there's dentistry to be done?
I can imagine
down on the table. We will win in the end. Damn those doctors.
And then for doctors,
I think they're so clever.
I can just imagine Eric,
we're gonna need some dentists.
I can imagine Eric taking these zombies down into like his scientific basement and like he's like wringing his hands,
What? Whoa! You can't tell them about my scientific basement.
It's time to see what you do to these zombies.
What? You can't just like. Is this like public relation? You can't just.
You think you can bite me? Yeah. I'll rip your teeth out.
For every Matt that is out there removing teeth from dead bodies, there's a John who's probably like equipping them with steel dentures or something.
I thought you were just gonna say like putting teeth back in. It's like that's my hobby. I just like put teeth in dead things.
We've learned about John today that apparently he is like Professor Chaos or something.
That's another. That's actually
dog advert.
Really, England's not coming off well in this podcast today. Good because I don't want it to. But what's interesting? One of the things that was big in England as well was dentistry during was it 1800 or something at Waterloo. They used to call them Waterloo teeth because it was considered your duty to put the teeth of dead soldiers from Waterloo into your mouth. As your own teeth, as an honourable thing, because they died. People would just go scavenging barrels of teeth from the battlefield at Waterloo and from other places.
That's so nasty.
And they were like, you need teeth. Put a fine British soldier's teeth in. He died. You may as well make his sacrifice worthwhile. Put his teeth in your mouth. Otherwise, we'll put goat's teeth in or someone else's teeth. You don't want a criminal's tooth, do you? You want a soldier's tooth. I was like, that's really weird dentistry. And now you know why they have such odd teeth. The big.
That's really weird. Anything? Why'd you put anything from a dead person into your own mouth? That's
well, if you're gonna put anything, it might as well be a tooth. I'm not. Let's leave it at that, shall we say? Let's not go further into that. But that is a real thing that happened, and it's really kind of weird. But kind of. I'm really character assassinating England tonight. It's great.
Well, that's fascinating. You know, I all this cool stuff that we would all talk about doing, but realistically, we would probably all hang out with each other on Skype and finish making this game.
Oh, you know what? We could do one better. We could have all the online people meet in real life if we got 500 days.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
That's
I'd totally
true.
roll a boat jump in
go.
America.
If we talk about the same income, I was just thinking like collecting everybody and bringing them. But yeah, no, that'd be awesome. We could all hang out.
Mhm.
We
I like
could
the
all
idea of
hang
just
out
like, what
together.
day is free for you? Let me check my calendars. I'm free for 500 days. What about you? I'm pretty good. Which day do you want to do? I don't know. What day do you want to do?
What a question.
Yeah, let's do day 451.
Yeah.
No. What about 304? No. I
304 doesn't work for me.
Yeah, 304.
Oh,
Damn.
that day is the one day. Oh, I have to do somewhere.
But you know, Jango and John, if you guys ever make it to the East Coast, you know what we're doing, right? We're playing Dead of Winter.
It'll actually take me
yeah.
a lot longer than Jango and arguably Panda
don't
for
know,
sure, but Jango and I are kind of far away from
Yeah.
either
I don't know.
coast.
Panda
thing,
gets lost a lot. We
one
learned
day
that before, and I
when you're
probably
here-
couldn't get out of Dublin. They fucking take forever to get out of Dublin before.
Ooh,
Getting through
LARPing.
customs is ridiculous.
I could certainly work out and swim my way, cross ocean and everything. If I mean,
Take a rowboat.
Such a
on,
good swimmer, I
rowboat.
can swim across the ocean.
It was interesting. The last time I went to America, I was going through, and you have to go through, customs security. You guys probably don't have to go through such a bad thing because you guys have American passports. John and I will know. We have to go through, and they have New York police officers in Dublin Airport. Just they're from New York. They get flown over for a while, and they have to do border control and stuff, and they interview you and everything. It's kind of intense, but I was just there, and the guy was like, "So what are you doing?" He's like, "I'm just going to visit stuff, going to go do things." He's like, "You're not going to work, are you?" And he's like, "No." And he just looked at me, and he goes, "So what are you planning on doing?" And he's just like, "I want to go to Philadelphia." And he goes, "All right, just get in there. Just fuck off. I'm not talking to you anymore." He just went, "Right, go on, move." I say, no one's lying about going to Philadelphia.
I just imagine
Go in there, get in.
John like taking his trebuchet and then like turning it into a boat. You know what I mean? Like trebuchet boat.
I'm imagining him trying to get that through airport security. Like,
yeah, through the
Anything
customs.
to
Well, you
declare?
wouldn't need an airport,
No.
What's
right?
that huge
It's,
luggage you've got there, sir? It's a trebuchet.
It's a tie rack.
Interesting. Can you open it up for us? No. Oh, damn. I kind of wanted to see it, but I guess we'll have to let you through anyways, right?
that's,
Unfortunately, medieval weaponry is not on the list for some reason. So off you go.
There was that.
You'd be just
that
some wood
reminds me
planks,
of
really.
what was it? Oh, what was it? Oh, that reminds me of this one movie. What was it? When like Mr. Bean was was it when Mr. Bean did like the Bond thing?
with
Oh,
Johnny
you mean
English?
Or
Johnny
no,
English.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
Johnny
no.
English.
Oh no, Johnny
Yeah.
English.
Yeah.
No. Or was that the Pink Panther? One or two, I can't remember.
No, it
but
was,
like,
Talking about Rowan
it was
Atkinson,
Johnny
it was
English was
Johnny English.
Rowan Atkinson.
No. I'm trying to remember the scene in which like
Oh.
basically like he goes through security. And,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
they
with
open the
hamburger.
bag and there's like all these medieval weapons in his bag.
Yeah, that's
They
Pink
just, like-
Panther, yeah. It's Steve Martin.
Yeah, Pink Panther. They just
yeah.
kind of haul it out one by one. They're like, "Here's a mace.
It's like-
Here's
it's like-
a maul. Here's a this," and they're just like, "Really?" And he's like, "No, that's mine." And they're like, "We don't believe you."
And they bring over the dogs, and they're like, they start smelling. So they're like, "What have you got on him?" And he's like, "Nothing." He's like, "All right, I've got hamburgers." You've got what, sir? Hamburgers.
That's right,
Hamburgers. I've got hamburgers. I love hamburgers. He's like, what? They really sick him with great. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Like,
probably
they-
tries
they
to learn
pull
to
out-
speak
they pull out all
English.
the stuff. Yeah. They pull out the I remember what you were talking about. They pull out the mace. They pull out like a little cute thing for like cutting your fingernails. He's just like a little scissors. He's just like, "Oh, I need to cut my fingernails." And then they pull out a mace, and so he's just like, "Yeah, I know what? That's not mine." That's good. Damn, that's a good movie.
See, I think we can agree on that.
That's awesome.
With 500 days, we can cause quite a lot of chaos.
Yeah,
that
you
is
mean
true.
you, John. You are the...
We would no. We would need some sort of timeshare 500-day system in which like half of the one hemisphere went on vacation while the other one worked to maintain everything.
Is that called like nighttime?
Yeah, like night. There we go.
I don't know who said that, but Jango is nocturnal anyway, so he's on our schedule, right?
Yeah, that's because I have to work with these people. Not that that's a bad thing, but I gotta be around when you guys are around. But yeah, it's true. Why it's 3 in the morning as I say this.
I was just about to complain about how it's 10 at night and I was sleepy, and I was like, I can't because Jango was awake in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I got up for this.
Oh wow.
There we go.
But you know, I think realistically, every single vacation I've ever taken, I've always ended up spending most of my waking time writing. Like, I always bring a notebook with me and I write, and it's never fails. No matter where I go, I find a quiet place to sit and I write stuff, and I feel like that ends up being what I do most when I'm not busy, trying to soothe all of the wounds that John has inflicted on the earth. Yeah.
You're gonna say on humanity.
I haven't even
Playing
done it
board
yet.
games are. Yeah, but
I haven't even done it yet.
can we make sure that John
Don't
never
judge
gets
me
a vacation?
currently.
John is not allowed to have a vacation because
He's only allowed to go to the Gold Coast. That's it.
Damn. No,
Report
that
on
kind of
Mr.
reminds
X.
me about how, like, when you were talking about writing being productive, I honestly feel like I do my best writing when there's no internet. And I can, everyone in this room is of the generation that could stand that,
Mm-hmm.
And, like, everyone younger would be like, oh, what are we going to do with our lives? No internet.
No, not reality.
Yeah, it'd be
oh my
I don't think
God.
a good notion like find a book and read it. You'd be like, what's that?
Whoa. Books?
you guys can
What's
have
that?
one
What
of
is
the
this
many on
arcana
my
you speak of?
shelves.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That reminds me of this
You're
other
really going retro today, John. I want to make a trebuchet and read books.
So medieval.
No, wait a minute, hold on. We could probably plant something in the beginning on day 1 and then have it grow. Like a tree or something. I don't know.
The world tree.
I don't know. Yeah, the world tree or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
What would take 500 days to do?
I told you guys, beating Eldritch Horror will probably take 500 days.
Oh, that would be a horrible existence. Just
Marathons?
500 marathons.
I don't know why that reminds me.
Yeah.
It reminds me of this guy, this little video clip with this Fallout guy, and he's like, have you ever seen like Fallout Shelter or any of that? It's like basically you sign like these guys to a task, and they sit there and do that task for forever. They'll keep on doing it over and over again. This guy made a video where it's like this guy's a pumping iron. He's been doing it for like the last week. He's like, God killed me. Please make me stop this. He's sitting there pumping iron,
Wow.
Just reminded me of that.
Back on to what Debbie was saying earlier, is we have a lot whenever we have free time, tends to do a lot of writing. That is one thing that I would like to do. Like, everyone seems to be a writer, like they always want to write their own kind of things. But it's something I would like to do if I had 500 days. I'd get a draft of at least one chapter or one murder mystery. One death-based murder mystery. One chapter of a game like Danganronpa or Zero Escape. Get something like that done. It's pretty good. I think everyone would probably do something like that.
Yeah, I think I would definitely write a book or something like that. Yeah.
To be quite honest, I would probably try to get the some of the other stuff done for our project there. That's probably what I would do.
Yeah, I know.
In all honesty, yeah, that's what I'd do.
Right.
One of the other things that I definitely have to do is I have to
wait,
finish...
whoa, hold on, real quick. Matt, do you think 500 days would be enough to finish everything? Like all the 3 factions?
Jesus, I don't know, dude. Like, that's a lot of work.
Well, we'll have to ask that question in the interview.
Yeah, I don't know. Damn.
There you go.
That would require like at least like one person a day like copying onto the project, like so we have 500 people at the end of the project,
I'll still go and build a trebuchet. I'll probably go and find Panda and collaborate on it. And then after that,
trebuchet, but that would just be sad.
No, years from now they're gonna reference this and they're gonna be like, so this was the moment, and this was the collaboration.
This was the time we should have stopped it.
Yeah, because
history will judge the turncoats harshly.
Yeah, the turncoats of humanity harshly.
That is definitely the title of the episode.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was just watching like 12 Monkeys, and like they flash back and flash forward about basically this virus, and then they're like this Russian person like, so when was this going on? And they're like, it happened here. Send them back. And it's like just like. We should totally do that and be like, this is the moment.
Yeah.
Right?
Indeed. We're going to be judged harshly for not stopping him now that we have the chance. You knew!
Exactly! Yeah, we're going to be like hauled in to like, the International Court of Justice or something like that or whatever. And be like, you should have known that John Shen would have ultimately build a trebuchet.
Don't even speak his name.
Yeah, exactly. Thou shalt not know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be possible that I get a job, from some museum and asked by them to build a trebuchet for display purposes. It just happened that it works.
Yeah, because that's how museums work.
Of course. Yeah. A real life model using real materials for educational purposes? I totally could see that.
Probably even improved, materials compared to the ones in the Middle Ages. We've got better iron, better wood treating techniques, better everything. Even heavier
that
rocks.
That would be really cool, actually. Yeah, like, what if we went back to the Middle Ages, but with all of the metals that we have now?
I think we would win. That would happen.
That'd be pretty cool. Like,
Screw you, King Arthur.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, damn.
You won't even need a medal. Just go back with a modern weapon, or even a gun or something.
This zombie powered catapults.
Yeah, well, we'll take Panda's fire breathing clock and offer it to the king. That'll kill him in minutes.
Wait a minute.
No. You never trade weapons with anyone. Have you never learned this? This happens in every Western movie, and they said the Pilgrims or whoever did it with the Indians. Never trade weapons with people because then they kill you with the weapons and take back what they gave you.
Wait, we just got a we just got a perpetual motion machine powered by zombies. You can accomplish anything. They'll continually try and get you. And then you just put them on a spokey wheel or whatever.
Like in a giant hamster wheel?
That's what I was talking about.
Like a giant hamster wheel. Yeah, or like a what was it called? Like one of those mill wheels, in which you just kind of push them back, and they're constantly trying to get you.
Yeah, well, the large trebuchet. There's like two of them on each side. You put them it's like a giant hamster wheel. You just throw a zombie in there. Two zombies, you'd be good to go. So
right?
Put two people in front of them,
Yeah, exactly. Who would have thought a source for renewable energy and also biodegradable?
Oh yes, because that's what we need during a zombie apocalypse to worry about the fate of the world for future generations.
Of course, why not?
It would be so terrible if we finally conquered the zombie apocalypse only to have global warming destroy us. The irony.
Right.
Anyway.
Right.
I think we're going to call the banter section to a close pretty soon, because we're running up on time. So just before that, does anyone have any last things they'd like to do with their time? Any last things spring to mind? Just boom, it's something I want to get done. So for example, one thing that I would definitely want to do with my 500 days of summer is finally finish learning the Nations of the World song from Animaniacs. Know the first verse perfectly, and I can't remember the European verse, never mind the African verse properly, but I will nail that one day, and I will have that down, and if it takes me 500 days, I will do it. Anyone else?
I think I would spend as much time as necessary finding a way to secure John and Eric to protect all of humanity. That's
I like that. It's like my 500 days of summer is spent making sure the other people don't have 500 days of summer because they will ruin the world.
Everyone
It
else
takes
is
500 days apparently to destroy humanity.
It
And
would be a
society,
race
totally
to see
and
who can do
completely.
it in the lowest amount of time.
And I would
I did
say
it in 403 days. How about you? Oh.
It's a race to the end
Well,
of the
that
world.
would totally
Pandemic,
work.
the board game.
Yeah.
Pandemic is also a board game I've never won.
Oh, you know, in a movie, what's the name? What's the movie? The where they twist bullets. What's it called again? Oh, anyway, in that movie, they rig a mouse with a little clock, a little watch, and it just happens to be a bomb. I wouldn't mind doing that. Wanted, that's right. Thanks. Yep. You know,
Yeah,
wouldn't mind-
this is
yeah.
This goes back to my keeping John from doing anything. Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
want you
right.
rigging.
Yeah, I'm just okay.
You're gonna make it difficult for him.
You gotta make it so that he can't put bombs and mice.
It's 500 days of seriously hard work.
No.
Just keeping the world safe. I think that might be an interesting like story or game. It's just like, you know what? I finally got a holiday and I gotta save the world
From John.
from other people's holidays. There we go. Eric, Matt, anything you would do with your last bit of your
Freedom.
500 days? Yeah,
I think I would
almost
start a
said
superhero team to make sure that Eric and John. I'd probably help you out.
But
Jesus.
But we need
that.
to
The
preserve humanity.
turncoats.
Well, yeah, the turncoats of humanity. But we need to preserve psychology of zombies for the generations to come.
I think Matt and I are going
There's
to
just
throttle you guys.
so much to learn from their
Untapped
brains
resource.
brains.
It's an untapped resource.
You know, you could totally get, biodegradable energy and wind power
It's
and,
it's also
windmills
an
and
interesting
Screw the
everything.
people,
I'm telling
man.
ya.
Screw the
I'd
people.
love
We're
to
making them
But that's the thing,
more
The
productive.
people are the bait, and the zombies are the energy generators.
I'm
I'm
not a
just
big
telling
fan
you,
of
man.
all the like superhero movies and stuff, but I would love it. I would give it a superhero movie a chance, like an original franchise, where like it's like X-Men kind of thing, where there's like two massive opposing sides of with seriously different viewpoints that are going to radically change the world, and the origin story of the conflict is that the two people, the two leaders were in a podcast and they disagreed on how they would spend 500 days of summer. to the point where that becomes the big rift in humanity. Is that one
Right.
wanted to destroy the world and the other had to
Developing
stop them.
500
And this-
Days of Summer
And this is
consensus.
the origin story of that would be hilarious. This is like the origin
500
for a
Days
massive-
of Summer consensus.
Oh, that would be an interesting movie. I'd give that one a shot.
500 days. The movie.
Right. You
Anything-
totally have all the world leaders gather in a room and be like, "So, how would you find your 500 days?" And then you would have like a Kim Jong Un going, "Well, I have all these nukes," and then everyone in America is like, "Wow, we have all these nukes too." Huh.
What do you want to do?
I like.
You want to take 500 seconds. You only have to press a button, it goes.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a Simpsons thing with the episode with Hank Scorpio and he just like he blows up, so he's like, to show you I'm serious, he like blows up a bridge outside the UN and he's like, oh no, the 59th Street Bridge. He's like, what if it just collapsed on its own? He's like, we can't take that chance. I want to take a chance. You always say that. I want to take a chance. Like terrible like Pakistani or Indian accent, but yeah.
I want to take a chance.
That's like Arnold Schwarzenegger wanted to take a chance. John, how will you end the world?
What the?
with your last 500 days?
How will I end the world?
What is your final plan?
Alright, okay. Something peaceful. I'm gonna practice archery.
Alright, master
Well,
archer.
that's what I was gonna say. Is that he would make it sound so peaceful. you would just listen to his voice, and he'd be like, "I'm going to end the world like this, with smooth jazz playing in the background."
I would like to point out that John did not specify what he would be using as targets.
Yeah. He just said, "I'm going to practice archery."
Yeah.
Which doesn't sound scary at all, given what he said before. Alright, so we're going to call it there. That was an interesting conversation on 500 days. Next up, 1,000 days.
Oh, great.
No, we'll see you all at the interview section, and you join us for that. Stick around. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Rogue Space interview section. Today I'm talking with Secret Reality and their mod Tiberium Secrets, Command & Conquer's 3 Tiberium Wars mod. With me today, as we mentioned earlier, are Eric Chou and Matt Ross.
Hi guys, I'm the project coordinator / producer, and that's like, and then there's a story with that, and then I lead the PR department, and then I lead the writing department, and then I don't have a title for it, but I also do the HR. So. And the reason why I say project coordinator / producer is because most non-game dev people and non-creative people don't know what a producer is, and even in the industry, a producer is kind of not really standardized. Yeah. Kind of, you know. So.
Hi. So I pretty much am the creative director within the project. I sort of do most of the art assets. I go over, how art, animation, and pretty much all that stuff behind the scenes functions, and I make sure all that works. So that's what I do.
We've actually heard from Secret Reality before on the podcast. Longtime fans will remember back in episode 2, we were talking about a Command & Conquer mod for Command & Conquer 3 Tiberium Wars called Tiberium Secrets. And that is Secret Reality's project. So we're going to discuss a bit about modding and what it's like to make mods today in this interview section. It's a lot more in depth than you might think, actually. So we'll just jump straight in with our first question. As always, is it INT or is it int? We gotta ask this question of everybody who comes on.
I would pronounce. I go with INT, honestly. I'm sorry. I go with INT.
Yeah,
Matt,
I would say pretty much the same thing. I always said INT.
Yeah. We have a bit of an internal kind of back and forth on this a lot, and it's really just boils down to this question at the moment that we have in the interviews. But it's nice to hear from outside the team. People see it more as INT. Unfortunately, I was in the int camp for a long time, but I have to say INT now since I'm hosting. It's great. We've got that question out of the way. We'll actually get into the real meat, the Tiberium Secrets. So tell us a bit about your game, actually, Tiberium Secrets.
So, Tiberium Secrets is a mod for Command & Conquer 3, which we started about 5 years ago, back in summer of 2011. Me and Matt actually joined a day apart from each other, even though we didn't know each other. Yeah. And that was something a little interesting there. And we actually joined another individual who was the lead coder, but who's no longer with us. He left in summer of 12. And we basically add 3 entirely new factions to the universe and to the game.
Cool. Interesting. So tell us a bit about your roles and kind of responsibilities on the team, both of you, between the two of you. I'm sure you cover a lot of ground.
Well, start off with me. As I said, my titles are basically project coordinator, producer / producer. The PR lead, and I saw that from Jacob, and I used to be PR manager, but then I actually had a department. Anyways, and then lead the writing, and then the lead writer, and then I also do the HR. So basically, I handle basically everything that has to do with administration and organization and more the business end of the entire project, and coordinate communications, assets, making sure people have what they need and know what they need to know when they need to know it. That's basically my job.
Yeah, and he does you do a fantastic job on that, by the way. So yeah, what I do is essentially as far as my responsibilities go, It's kind of a mixed bag, to be quite honest. Since I'm a creative director, I tend to view the works that a lot of the other people within our little group there do their job essentially. That meets standards. There's a particular type of quality that I like to maintain, and I think it helps the integrity of the project in general. So it's basically. My job, if I'm not, fixing somebody else's work, I'm going to be doing my own work and trying to, get that stuff resolved as well.
Interesting. So, tell us about some of your goals and expectations for the project. Like, where would you like to see the project when it comes to finish? A big climax. Where will it be, and what will be involved?
Well, if we have our full, if we go through our full dev cycle of getting all of our 3 factions done, which is quite a task already, one faction is, it's already a lot. It's an RTS, we would really like to see all of that come fruition, and then that's really my goals. I can't say expectations because it's a long journey. It's already been 5 years.
Oh, sure.
Course, and then we have hiatus in a couple of years and this and that, and there was a time we didn't have a proper coder, but that's really what our overall goal is for the project, and honestly, to be a launching board for hopefully our next projects to come, in whatever shape or fashion that takes. I might get in a little bit later for the lore part, but that's just my personal thing that I would like to continue lore wise.
Sure, yeah.
That's what
we'll talk about that a little later as well. Yeah, that's good.
Well
Matt?
said. I mean, basically. I would back pretty much just what he said. Me and him are kind of like-minded when it comes to that. Just trying to get something that works in, that's nice, that people enjoy, that they can, pick up and play and be fun for them and easy. For them to accustom themselves to it, So.
Yeah. Well, also it's something that I guess the kind of goals and expectations. Is I guess more expectations is me and Matt fully believe in quality across the board, and we try and stand by that as much as we can, and that's honestly how partly we were able to make such great content for everybody in the community and everybody else, and for ourselves too. Really follow our passions is to really. Try and have quality across the board, and then when you really think about everything in terms of a big picture and a system and everything kind of working together, you kind of see how it kind of interacts, and you kind of realize that if you have not so good, if you have not so good story, or if you're not so good audio, if you're not so good art, that kind of detracts from everything else, right? Mm-hmm. And you don't really want that because you want everything to be consistent in one fluid product. So, the only way to have that is to have, as I said, quality across the board.
Sure. So why mod a Command & Conquer game of all games, as well as why mod a game such as Tiberium Wars, which is it's about 9 years old at this point. It's an older game. What brought that decision about?
Right. And for me, I really had my humble beginnings on the Command & Conquer official forums, which are down now. But I got really inspired by just the passion and the community and the dedication. And, the thing about modding is, and that's the contrast between modding and indie that you get, right? Everyone goes, wouldn't it be better just to make an indie game instead of a mod? Wouldn't you, get all the benefits of potentially making money and stuff like that? And I'm like, well, yeah, that's there. But the thing about when you're modding, and if you really do it well, right, you kind of almost got like a banked-in community that will kind of, really kind of support you through the way, or at least partly. And whereas when you're an indie developer, you got to build that brand and build that community from the ground up, and that's got its pros and cons, right? And that's one of the first things. One of the reasons why I like doing what we're doing, honestly, is because it allows not just Command & Conquer, but modding in general, but also Command & Conquer. It allows us to really expand our scope far beyond what a lot of other modding or indie teams gets to do, because we're making an RTS with 3 new factions and story and everything, and we really get to expand our scope as to what we can actually accomplish. And that's one of the reasons why I really am motivated to do Command and Conquer. Is I want to go above and beyond for this community because I really have a lot of passion and love this franchise.
Sounds good, yeah. Even I play a couple of CNC games. I think I believe I've played Tiberium Wars, and it would be a pretty good game. I'd like to see more of it in development, a lot more content for it as well. So, same question to you, Matt. Why did you choose to work for on a CNC game, Command and Conquer game, and particularly a mod for an older game?
So, yeah, as far as I go, I mean, I should say that RTS games are nothing new to me. I played RTS games way back when I was, a little kid. So I started out with the CNC franchise just in general, and did that. So a lot of my passion comes from, just playing it when I was younger, and then moving, to wanting to develop games and make stuff. As an artist, I've always had a passion for making things move, to see a model, to see art in motion is something powerful to me, as I am an artist. So to me, that kind of gave me a type of drive to want to head toward doing something like that. So a combination of both of those two things, and you get something like what we have now. So yeah, basically it is an older engine. It is an older game, but I think what we're doing with the type of work that we're producing and putting out there, we're really trying to update a lot of that. We're trying to bring it to maybe around like 2012 standards. So yeah, that's basically where I chime into that. All right. Yeah.
So we've kind of touched on this a little bit already in your answer, but what is it like to create a video game in an already established franchise, and what kind of challenges and benefits does it come with, as opposed to creating your own IP from scratch, as you said? You've got a... Yeah.
Right. As we'll probably get a little bit later into the story, but that's honestly a lot of the job. We'll get more in detail later on in the story question, but there's a lot of, especially with something like Command and Conquer, in which there's actually 15 years, not game time, but literally, the original game came out in 1995, Command and Conquer 1, Tiberium Dawn, and there's just so much lore potential there, right? And that's definitely both. You could look at it as a challenge, as an opportunity, as something that really kind of drags you down in the sense of nostalgia, because nostalgia is huge in this franchise, as in many other franchises, but specifically in Command and Conquer. It's and that's where we kind of set ourselves apart from other projects doing modding and even indie too. Is a lot of games and a lot of things are all about nostalgia, and it's all about wouldn't it be great to have just like it, and then they really just replay the exact same audio or art or mechanics or everything, the models or whatever, just bringing it back and going, hey, look at it is again, this thing that you remember when you were a kid like 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, Sure. And it's just like, oh, wow, that's kind of cool, right? But that has its place, right? And, we really strive to push forward into the future of the franchise, and that's probably why that's probably why we have, there are other Command and Conquer mods that have more support than that are currently, and also they have releases and stuff like that, which we will soon. But, everyone's all caught up in nostalgia, right? So that's something that you really have to work with, know how to handle, find out what place it is in the franchise that you're working with, and kind of handle it and work with it, right? Sure. So I guess that's a very, very big concern when you're modding or handling an existing franchise, as to what kind of you have to look at and what you're kind of limited by, right?
And same question to you as well, Matt.
Yeah, so I kind of have a little bit of a different outlook, but so when I'm asked what it's like to create something to an established franchise, right? I'm thinking essentially like how can you explain this? Like, the lure is already there, the story is already there. People know that story, people know that game. And to me, I don't want to necessarily create something that's already been done, but at the same time, I like to, I have the same passion. I love the story, I love the lure. So to take that and, kind of adapt it to what, some of the newer stuff that we're doing and, explain how what we've done has come across from what is already in the game, but yet is very different at the same time. I think that's one of those challenges, but it does come with, it's kind of like a 50-50. It's like a razor, what's that, Occam's razor, where, 50% chance either way, right? So benefits with
double-edged sword, you mean?
You understand what I'm saying? With weaknesses.
Yeah.
So I think that's really kind of what it is with that type of situation. But I enjoy it. I mean, it's been fun. The project, just doing it's been fun in general.
That's cool. So just before we get into the kind of nitty and gritty and talk quite a bit about the actual game and the content you're bringing to Tiberium Secrets, just to quickly look at, are any of the official Command & Conquer team aware of your project or involved in any way?
Well, none of them are involved directly, I would say, but we actually did I was able to get, when I was back at school, I did a project on this project, which was kind of interesting. I managed to do an academic project on my project, which was awesome. And I was able to get in contact with Louis Castle, co-founder of Westwood Studios. Oh. And he did an hour, my project was interviewing what a producer did. And, he was able to give me an hour of his time, which was great. I could probably link that down below if you guys want to check it out.
Yeah, sure. We'll
but
link
also,
it in with our with this session.
Right, sure. And then I was also able to get in contact with Mark Skaggs, who is lesser known but also really experienced. He's the executive producer of Red Alert 2. And he was also executive producer of a few other of the past Command & Conquer games. I think he left later in Electronic Arts history, or Westwood history. But
it's wonderful to hear that even the original creators are involved to a certain extent in the project and are actively supporting it. And I know in 10, 15 years time, it would be nice if someone was doing something for INT and they were like, oh, I want to get in touch with the INT guy. And it's like, yeah, that's great to see breathe new life or more life into these kind of projects. It's really great to see that they still love what was their creations.
Right. Yeah, actually, Matt will be able to confirm this, but there was a long time ago before Grey Goo, okay, in which he tells me, which we haven't been able to find the email again, so and this might, but Matt was telling me that we got a message from someone from Petroglyph, this was back in 2012 or so, or 2011, before we 2012 or so, before they had Grey Goo, and they kind of said that they weren't really clear because they had the PR and everything, but they kind of gave us a nod and they're like, you guys are in the right direction, and it was just very interesting, specifically with if you look at our mechanics, our public mechanics, the colony and with the videos down there, you can just find it on our YouTube page. You'll see clear inspirations potentially, as well as our Dream 51 faction is in the drop nodes and the having the 4 hubs on the side and being able to construct out of it and energy in the concepts as you kind of look around for Dream 51 in the colony. You really kind of see some of these things that might have been, these different things that might have been homages, or maybe it's totally, or maybe we're totally off base and they just totally came up with it by themselves. But at the same time, if this communication can be confirmed, and believed, that it does seem like it is possible that we got a kind of a nudge in the right direction. But on the positive note, we were definitely able to get some of that communications and really get some of that, both private and public support, and we really hope that when we do alpha, open and closed, that, they'll be able to come on, and I do intend to give legacy testing to all Command & Conquer staff people that have ever been involved in the official franchise, as well as any Command & Conquer community staff people that have been staff for at least a year, and that grants them to close testing for the remainder of our project as long as we shall live and continue, and that's just our way of honoring and respecting everyone that's been involved in it, even if you're on a community basis, as well as our we do that for our former members as well if they've had significant contribution and if they remain in good standing with us.
So let's actually get into some of the specifics about Tiberium secrets. I talk about what's going on in there. You've already alluded to having factions, and even you mentioned adding story and a whole lot of lore and things. So what can we expect to see in Tiberium secrets? A new campaign or some new game modes? What exactly is going to be involved?
I'll let mainly, I'll let Matt answer this question because I talked mainly over the other one. So Matt, I think you got as much information as I do, right?
Well, I mean, as far as that goes, we do kind of have an idea of what we want to do for keeping everything on track. As far as what is it? As far as making campaigns, it takes a lot of it takes somebody that is a good map maker. So currently we don't necessarily have the resources at our disposal to be able to necessarily do that. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that, there is possibilities in the future for that. As far as what we're focused on right now, we are focused and dead set on trying to make sure that the first faction is released and is up to par. So the moment that it's released, all animations and visual effects are done.
Okay.
Right. So that's mainly our focus, and that's mainly what's Matt been looking at day in and day out.
Tell us how you went about creating some of these new fractions for a game like Command & Conquer.
So yeah, as far as creating the actual assets themselves, it's kind of come a long way. It's working with the lure. It's working with the, it's kind of it's hard to explain. It's three aspects coming in together. You have to take the models into account. You gotta take textures. So really you have to look at how they're supposed to behave. How they're supposed, what's their theme? What's their overall ideology? I guess would be the best way to say it. And in a way, you kind of do have to get in their heads. You have to think how the faction would think, and to get a good sense of them. And once when you do that, then it kind of starts clicking. Would be just the easiest way to say it. Some concepts are drawn up. You have some people that are concept artists. You try to describe basically what they're supposed to be. And through concepts and then modeling and texturing, eventually you get a complete asset that's you're able to use in the game. So I guess that would be how that happens. It's a process, to be quite honest. It doesn't happen instantly. To be able to make content like that, it takes probably about 2-3 days from start to finish. So yeah, there you go.
And how do you go about designing the aesthetic for these factions? So what are some of your biggest influences? I'll ask this of Matt, particularly being the art lead.
So as far as that goes, it really depends on what particular faction it is. Is it supposed to be, a type of, dead-like race, or is it supposed to be machine, And so first you kind of have to pinpoint, what is the faction's main characteristics. You take that, and then, personally I try to, if it's going to be something that's going to be like Alien or something like that, I try to basically distance myself completely from everything that is out there. and then I try to draw, aspirations from, nature and creatures, things like that. Personally, I used, if you look at the colony, I used dinosaurs and insects, combination of dinosaurs and insects to make aliens. And they have their own lure and their own style, I guess. But right now we're mainly sticking to the ASI there. So as far as the ASI go, the ASI are weird, very different type of machines. They are a type of machine that has a type of intellectual capacity, unlike regular machines.
I would say that they're a machine faction, an AI that understands or tries to understand emotion. And humanity.
It understands human emotion, and because it understands the drive and the need for it.
Okay.
A sim is essentially an artificial systematic intelligence machine, mainframe. And more or less, it'd be some of our future goals is to get the colony more fleshed out and GM army. We have a lot of the structures, but not everything is in place for that. So as far as the ASI go, as far as their design aspect, like I said, just kind of like looking at how they're supposed to behave, what is the nature of them, and kind of combining some of that stuff together in style, and then creating your own texture, creating your own twist, your own style, if you will.
Okay, interesting. So you've already kind of touched on these different factions you're talking about. So you talked about the ASI, the colony, and the Dream 51 or the Dream Army. So tell us a little bit about each of these factions. What are they about them, and a little bit about their lore.
Well, to start with the ASI, the ASI, for those who are Command and Conquer fans, they hail from the Brotherhood of Nod, where the Nod, the Red faction, and they kind of set themselves apart in the sense that they no longer believe in Tiberium. They no longer think that this, mythical crystal that's at the heart of the universe for so long is the answer. They think that this isn't the way to go for whatever reason, right? Okay. Either they've suffered too much under this, or the leader Kane has slighted them, or hasn't gone in the direction, or all these sacrifices they've made in the service of the organization which they served for so long didn't pan out, So they basically go off to the Black Hand, for those who pre-TW Black Hand. Anyway, that's the inner, inside of me, but inner nerd inside me, But anyway, so basically they go and then they make this artificial intelligence, and they really work on it to try and get it to understand what a human needs are, right? And how do you do this, right? This is the classic problem. How do you get an AI or a computer to understand human needs? And the best way they do it, essentially, is by incorporating, basically uploading themselves into it, or putting human brains, or our essence in computers or robotic forms or androids. How human are we?
It's taking
right?
the human brain and then reconstructing it at such a high quality digital scale that it would mock and image your brain exactly. Right. And that actually reminds me of this other thing, but that's a tangent. But I'll just mention. I'm not gonna, because we're running low on time. But there's basically a book called The Prefect by Alistair Reynolds. Look it up. There's an AI in there that the holograms, phase 1 and phase 2 holograms. Just look it up. It's a really great reference, and we're really gonna go into making a computer, a person into a computer kind of a thing. So that's kind of the ASI. For the colony, basically their kind of lore, their kind of
thing is originally they're just about a plague, and they were kind of flood-like from the Halo universe, and that was all we knew from the original person that was here. And then, I kind of really took that and I was like, how do we expand this, right? So what I was able to come up with was they're a pre-fall civilization, basically something happened to them. The generic was something happened to them, and basically this other alien faction that's in the game, the Skrin, kind of basically gave them Tiberium, gave them this thing, and that was the original concept. And where it's evolved and where it is now is that basically Skrin, this alien faction, has been harvesting minerals with their harvesting forces with this Tiberium that takes over a planet and kills all the population, right? Mm-hmm. So basically they've been doing this for a long time, for generations, and they're rich beyond belief, and their empire is great and very, very powerful, right? There's of course more to details into that, but which we may go into later but we'll see. But basically what begins to happen is that by seeding this, Tiberium on all these planets, something strange begins to happen that they didn't plan for. And basically, the Skrin, the creator, the people that are creating Tiberium or using it, didn't anticipate this. And it begins to happen, and then basically these creatures develop, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing is that they're basically the conglomeration of the dead. But it really takes that, and that's why when Matt kind of goes and does the art, he has the dinosaurs and the bugs. And he did this before I wrote the story, because that's really what you have to do as a story writer when you're dealing with an existing franchise, or even just, a new project that you're new to, or a project in general, is that you have to write to what is going on in all the other departments. You have to both lead and also guide the direction, and also kind of lay out what could potentially go, and I think that hopefully I was able to do that, and this is actually the first time I'm actually revealing the part of the colony origins, publicly. I didn't actually intend on doing that, but here we go, But
thank you for the exclusive.
Yeah, of course, But it really kind of goes. The question that I want people to think about when they're playing the colony is enforced by their mechanics and their lore. Is the entire question when we were when back a couple of years ago when we were talking about Dolly and clones, and now it's CRISPR technology and all these other things that are happening in the real world science that are unintended consequences in creating life and adjusting life, and what's our responsibility, what's our moral obligation, what is a scientist, what's the humane thing to do, what should we put a moratorium on this technology, for a certain period of time, what is the responsibility in creating life, And some of these people, scientists create life to destroy it or use it for other purposes. Is that moral? Is that ethical? Is that something that we can live with? And that's really the question at the heart of the colony that I really wanted to get across, so that the players kind of ask about this kind of traditional, philosophical debate within biotechnology. So that's the colony. And Dream 51? Matt, you want to do Dream 51?
I don't know. I mean, I was actually going to kind of insight a little bit on the colony, just a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, they're kind of a weird situation, because basically Tiberium affects them differently. So that's basically what had happened to them. They weren't like that once. They are now. So to be simple,
right
with it,
right.
Yeah.
But the other thing about Dream 51, and originally in our way back when, there was a faction called the ASA that was before the ASI. That was all this New World Order, Illuminati stuff, and we had this whole phase that was before me and Matt got here, and we decided jointly together with the former co-lead at the time that was not the way to go for that faction. And that really allowed us to go to the ASI and really that theme. But the thing about the Dream 51 is that they kind of take that theme too, but instead of all the sinister conspiracy theorists of going, oh, they're out to kill us, they're out to do all this crazy stuff and set up 9/11 and all these other conspiracy theories that may or may not be correct or kosher politically or whatever. They're actually the good guys. They are actually trying to be the good guys instead of this Illuminati trying to be the bad guys and exterminating humanity. They're actually trying to be the good guys. And the reason why they are trying to be the good guys, at least story-wise that I've come up with so far, they're so far in development that of course this may change. But basically the reason why they're trying to be the good guys is because they were the bad guys before. They were the bad guys. They were some of these shifty Illuminati kind of, New World Order types that you want to make kind of this and that kind of shady with. And they've seen the errors of the ways. They've destroyed the, certain economies and countries and CIA kind of shifty business, and they can't live with themselves anymore. They don't want to do this anymore. They're like, we see the error of our ways and we want to make up for this. They're like the redemption faction.
Okay.
And they kind of see themselves as trying to correct for either their past miscomings or even maybe some of humanity's miscomings, in the sense of, we want better for ourselves. We want to get into space. We want to save humanity. We want to preserve what we can. And by that, they decide to make a big space station and have a moon base. And if you want to find out where they end up going, you'll just have to stay tuned. There's a lot going on with them that we kind of plan out, and I'll just say this: hopefully, if everything works out, if hopefully we'll have a solid platform to launch our own IP.
Okay, sounds good.
That's in the best case scenario, but of course, that will require some other legal stuff and IP rights to be signed over, and it's just this and that.
Well, it says very interesting. I quite like the kind of twist with our Dream 51, and that the bad guys turn good, because what story that I quite like, but is a little bit done, is the guys who set out to be the good guys and do everything with best intentions, and everything goes wrong, and they end up being the bad guy by mistake, by accident. It's interesting to see the bad guy trying to be the bad guy and then say, actually no, this isn't right, flipping. So that's quite interesting. Nice twist on it. I'm going to ask one last question before I open it up to Debbie and John to ask any questions they might have, and then we'll do some quick outros, and we'll call the interview at that point. So, what would be the biggest challenges and the biggest accomplishments you've had to date with your project? And what's the thing you're most proud of? And if you could do something differently, what would you do? If we could do this nice and quick.
Well, I guess the biggest challenges that we definitely had is finding a proper, adequate coding department. It's not just in finding a good coder and competent person and trustworthy person, because code is the backbone, as Jango probably knows, because he's the lead code lead for this project. It's a lot of responsibility, and you have to know what you're doing. And the thing is that when you're doing indie, you can use whatever language you want, almost, right?
Yeah.
Or, but when you're doing Command and Conquer mod for Command and Conquer 3, you're precluded to a certain type of coding, XML and bonus for LUA, and being able to find someone that's dedicated enough to be able to do that, and also is cool about the project, and also willing to work for volunteer basis for a mod that doesn't make any money, it really kind of wheedles you down, especially because also that Electronic Arts has not really been forthcoming in official support for Command and Conquer for some time. So, we haven't had any official support from the actual company, or anything like that. And that's really been hard on us because, if there's no official support for the actual game, the community is just nearly, dead, right? But then you kind of weed out all the kind of flakers and the seasonal guys, and you really get to the people that are most dedicated to the franchise. And I guess that's kind of one of our accomplishments, is being able to find those people and being able to appeal to those people and saying, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we want to do. Will you join us? And I think for a non-remunerated, no money involved volunteer project, try and be as professional as possible. I think just by getting to alpha, closed alpha, which we're actually pretty much announcing and releasing very, very soon. Exclusive here first too. Yeah. We're definitely really proud of that. Matt, I think it's definitely an accomplishment that you got on your belt.
I have no idea.
Any release is an accomplishment. Any developer will tell you that is.
Well, it's like yeah, it's like essentially we're releasing like 1/3 of 5 years of work, so it's like hey, no pressure, right? But that's a massive accomplishment. And just the quality of people that we've been able to find. That's really my biggest accomplishment, I think, on this project. Matt?
As far as my biggest accomplishment, just how much I've learned in the past 5 years. I think it kind of goes into the next question, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to open up the floor to Debbie and John for any questions they might have. Just a moment.
Oh, okay.
Just before you say that, you said and then I'll ask the advice question. Just before we get off, Eric, did you say scripting in XML and in LUA?
Yeah. So we do XML scripting, and we and bonus would be LUA.
That's Lua.
LUA, yeah.
Lua. That's what Debbie has to write in. Where as a writer, she has to do some scripting with Lua. So,
oh well, look at that!
Yeah,
look at that.
I'm a coder.
Wait, you're a coder or
a
you're a writer? I thought
you were
a
writer.
They have to script events for the.
I do some of the
conversation.
Oh, look at you! Look at you! So awesome.
I teach them. I have to show them Lua stuff, and then I have to get C# to work with Lua so that they can do stuff. But it's pretty cool.
Cheat sheets, but I'm really proud of what I've learned to do, and all the things that we've actually been able to accomplish, which is it's funny because we're a small writing team. It's me and Dave, and we do a whole lot of writing, and then we took on coding. I mean, just a little, it's just a little bitty baby bite of what the coding team does, but I'm proud of it.
It's all helpful. It's all good stuff. So, any questions from either John or Debbie on the topic? We've covered a whole lot of stuff, and there's been a lot of interesting points made. I'm sure you guys might have something you'd have thought of, some questions you might like to ask, given all we've heard.
Well, for me, I would say you guys did a phenomenal job of covering everything I can think of. It was just really interesting to listen.
Yeah, I think we covered quite a lot of questions that I was going to ask anyway. So I'm really looking forward to the release of this mod. CNC is a game that I started, PC gaming on the first 1995 release of Command & Conquer, and it's
you got a vet here.
And I think a lot of us.
Brotherhood of Nod, you're gonna destroy us all.
I do like Kane. It's more to the credit of the actor rather than the actual role. But it's as Eric and I mentioned, a lot of is a nostalgia, and excited to see it. Excited to see them all being released.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. When you want to make a video game, you have to understand it takes just severe dedication. Like, it takes hours and hours. And when you feel like you're getting nothing done, just continue doing it. because eventually that's how stuff is made. Expect a lot of bugs and problems. Expect things not working the way that you wanted them to. In getting that fixed, that alone can take hours. A wise man once said, "It's like video games don't want to be made," and I will use that quote.
You can. It's, yeah.
And I think that that's very, very much true. So, I mean, in order to really make a video game, I think you have to be coming at it from an artistic aspect. You have to be coming at it as more, prominent, I guess, in a way, aspect to make sure, that you're getting into something that you can truly, devote yourself to. If it's too big of a project, I would never start with something large. Start with something small. My best advice to somebody who is truly an artist, they're interested in getting into game design, or even just kind of like feel their way around, see if they like it. Join a mod team. Join somebody who already knows what they're doing, and has a little bit of time to spare to try to help you out, as you're in your endeavor to be able to do this. It takes 2 to 3 years to learn the programs themselves. So I think that that's something that people should really have to be aware of. And so I'm giving an actual serious note on that one. Yeah.
All right. And yourself, Eric, any advice for anybody?
Yeah, I would say the key thing that I've learned in doing this for so long, just one thing, because I know I've been talking a lot. If you want to ask me, message me later or whatever, if you're in the community, listen to this and just like, hey, I'm more than willing to answer your questions. I had a ModDB guy do that. 2 things. He asked me, what's the most important thing, in running PR? Is it dedication? And I'm like, well, dedication is kind of given. It's kind of understood. If you don't have dedication, you don't have anything else, right? And I'm like, well, for PR, you really need to have, the key thing is discretion. You need to know what to say, what not to say, to whom to say it, in times where they're saying nothing, and all around, 24/7. Whenever you're on the platform, when you're on your Twitter or your Skype or your whatever other platforms that you're on, YouTube, that's thing for PR. Okay, discretion is the key thing that I would say for takeaway if someone really want to go to PR. If you want to be a producer or a project coordinator or someone that's leading a project or in the management upper echelon, I would say the key takeaway that I've learned, and I guess this can apply to other fields as well, but know what the difference between what you don't know and what is not possible. But then for writing, write for a mod, write for an indie team, I guess the key takeaway that I would advise if you want to be a writer is live. You can't write in a vacuum. You can't write without other people, without interaction. Most of a writer's job is not sitting in front of the computer or at your notepad or with your journal. That's not where most of your job is, actually. Most of your job as a writer and your inspiration comes from living life, comes from having experiences and being able to communicate with your friends and your family and coworkers and whatever in life, to be able to take those experiences, quantify it, and saying, this is what this is like. And that's actually kind of what I say a job of any creative person is, an art, writer, composer, whatever, is your job is to quantify the human experience. That's the best way I can put it.
Good sage advice indeed.
That's pretty much all I got.
Sage advice indeed, they say. So very last questions are, when can we expect to see Tiberium Secrets release, as you mentioned earlier? Do we have a
So-
set? Do we have a set date?
We have no
Or a window?
hard line date because I hate to give them as any producer would, but I would like to say sometime close to the end of July.
That's this
kinda
month.
Close
You know that,
close
right?
to the end of
It's
this.
like 10 days away.
Yeah, for close.
Yeah, but that's for closed.
That's
Yeah.
That's,
For open? What do you think, open, huh? Well, I was kind of hoping to have open if I'm a good producer and people are and things are great. I would like to have open right before mod of the year again.
oh.
And have a release.
You're saying something that is alluding to what I've got to say next. No, it's good. So you're hoping for an early an open by the end of the year.
We're hoping for yeah. We're hoping for an open alpha by the end of the year. Give us a chance. Give us people to just do closed, and also do open, and really get a sink teeth and be like, because we actually made number 121 for 2015, and I was told by the intense chief honcho of IndieDB and ModDB and VRDB or such that we were like 20 to 30 votes away from making into the top 100, and I was like, if only I had done my job better, and that's kind of how it feels like,
Indeed.
if only I had sent out just another blast email.
If only. So the last thing is, will you need a copy of the original Tiberium words to play the TS mod?
Yeah, you will need it, and it's $15 on Steam unless there's a sale, which there was one it was $4. And there was a question real quick that I kind of want to address because someone in the community did ask us, because there is actually a community-made SDK for Kane's Wrath, the expansion of Command & Conquer 3 Tiberium Wars, and they were wondering, why don't you build it on that, because that's newer, right? And we were like, well, we had started 5 years ago, so that wasn't really an option. Well, it was an option, or probably not very good. A stable option. It's also a community effort. And also, to make a mod of an expansion of a game that's kind of old, that's a little like niching yourself into a niche of a niche,
It's not just that. The Kane's Wrath doesn't have, since it is just a, what would you say? It's not a complete. It's a community done version, so it's not complete. Which means that there's a lot of options, a lot of stuff that we can't really mess around with or take or use from the older variant. There's more stuff, believe it or not. There's more stuff to the actual base game that they never even used. So we're kind of digging some of the stuff that they haven't used up and. That. So there's just a lot of other stuff that we can pull from, code-wise and other things like that as well.
And really briefly, what's next for Secret Reality once you have your Tiberium Secrets released?
Well, in the best of the world situation of an ideal world, we will no longer be called Secret Reality.
Okay.
Secret Reality was a team name brought on by the original co-founder of the project, Seth Brown, Umbrella Secrets. We want to pay respects to that, but at the same time, me and Matt have been doing this for about 5 years now, and we love and we do great with Command & Conquer Universe, and modding is great. We love the community, and MODDB is great to us. Really great to us, but we would like to actually make money.
Yep, at some point.
man,
Well, I don't blame you
at
for
some
that,
point.
to be honest.
So we if everything goes according to plan, we will be starting a partnership, LLC, with two of us, and going forward from there. And we'll have to see what the future will hold, and if IP sign-offs and stuff like that go through, and what goes on with that.
Oh, well.
But that's really what's the big next step for Tiberium Secrets. The development team is to be able to take that next leap, and then really go for it. But on the development end, if everything goes well and we get good community support, of course we're gonna put up our own website introducing our team and they're this and that. And then we'll be, putting up for donations. Hopefully, we'll hopefully get some donations and from the community and from other places and this and that, and really kind of show our support of continuing our development of this project that's been a passion project for so long. So that's really what's immediately next. Once we have Alpha kind of squared away.
Well, cool. So thanks for your time, guys. It's been really great hearing a lot about the modding community. It is very much a much more in-depth process than some people might have thought. And I'm glad to see that you guys take it seriously. And there's a whole lot of work going on, and you are having great success. And I'm glad you could be here.
Yeah, no problem.
Right? Yeah, no. People can only take you as seriously as you take yourself.
Thanks. So we're going to call the interview on that end, and just before we end the podcast, to go over announcements I alluded to earlier. So this year, September 30th through October 2nd, INT will be at Con of the Mountain. Starboard Games will have a couple of our people, so come join us in Clifton Forge, Virginia. Come see us. The convention will be showing off 2 new sub-levels as part of the apartment. It's going to be really cool. You're going to see a whole lot of expanded areas in the build, a lot more stuff to do, including new companions to hang around. And we're even going to be hosting a panel discussion at Con of the Mountain about game design and level design. For those of you who can't make it, we have an extra special announcement that we are kicking off our Indie of the Year campaign. As of right now, we're going to be releasing a version of INT that's playable shortly after the Con of the Mountain, so anyone who couldn't make it can play the game. Hopefully get us a couple of votes for Indie of the Year, and please stay tuned as we keep going after that. Doing quite well. We're nearly Indie of the Week. Let's try and make it Indie of the Year. And unfortunately, on a sadder note, this will be my last Rogue Space episode that I'll be hosting. I'm sure I'll be joining in a few of them, as INT has got our new PR manager, Emily Goodrich, and she'll be taking over on the podcast as of next month. And hope for all the best, and we'll see if we can get some really cool episodes going on for you. I know I'm looking forward to them. So stay tuned for all of that. So just the last thing to do is say goodbye to everybody. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for having me, John.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Debbie.
Thank you, and I'll see you guys at Con of the Mountain if you are going.
Sure. Also, a big thank you for being here, Eric.
Thank you. Thank you for the time that you've taken today in hosting us here.
Yeah, no
really,
problem.
really, really appreciate it.
And also thank you to Matt for being here as well.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
That's great. So that'll end Rogue Space for the month of July 2016. Hope to see you next time.
I would
Just
Real
one
quick, you can
frivolous
edit
thing.
this out.
Yep.
Real quick, you can edit this out, but I'm gonna. It's fucking hot in this room, and I need a fucking fan, and it's gonna have this sound in my background. So I'll just be quiet, and you can edit all this out.